Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to work through an example speaking part 2 question and practice ways you can improve your grade in the test. Let's start with today's question then. Describe the environmental pollution in your city. You should say what type of pollution it is, the cause of this pollution, the impact it has on the local residents, and explain how can this pollution be controlled? Okay, I could answer this whole question by saying the following. The biggest issue in my city is noise pollution. It's caused by lots of factors and it has a really negative impact on local residents. I think the government should do something to control it. I had fun with this one. Although it looks like I'm answering the question, I basically don't say anything. I just reuse the question language without really adding anything at all. This is not going to score well in the test. So, how could I expand my answer? Let's have a look. Regarding the what type of pollution it is prompt, I said, the biggest issue in my city is noise pollution. In order to expand this answer, I could give some context about other types of pollution and perhaps say something about where this problem is worst. So let's have another go. Although there are various types of pollution in my city, such as air pollution and water pollution, I actually think the most pressing issue is noise pollution. This problem is particularly acute in the city centre and surrounding areas where it just never seems to be quiet for even a moment. This is a much fuller response to the prompt and allows me to demonstrate some extra vocabulary related to the topic of pollution because I gave some examples before getting to my main point. This is a good technique you could try yourself. Now let's move on to the cause of this pollution. My initial answer was, it is caused by lots of factors, which is a pretty pointless sentence as it doesn't really say anything. So I should definitely expand it. Let's have a go. Although there are many contributing factors, such as industry and traffic, I actually think the biggest problem where I live is the sound of alarms. Fire alarms, car alarms, and gate alarms seem to go off constantly, night and day. It has got to the point that nobody pays any attention to them, so they're actually pointless. But the amount of distraction they create is terrible. Aside from being longer, this response now actually makes a point, so would score much higher in the test. Moving on to the impact it has on local residents, my initial answer was, it has a really negative impact on local residents. Again, this doesn't really say much, so I need to actually make a point. So my revised answer might be, all of this racket has a really detrimental effect on the local residents. During the daytime, I find it really hard to concentrate because of all these different alarms going off. And at night time, it can be almost impossible to sleep at times. It got so bad that I had to buy earplugs to wear at night because the lack of sleep was starting to leave me feeling exhausted. This is much more comprehensive and includes varied vocabulary and a few more advanced verb phrases. Let's finish then with the final point. Explain how this pollution can be controlled. I simply said, I think the government should do something to control it. This is the beginning of a response, but I need to give more detail about how they could do this, such as, I think that everyone has their part to play in solving this issue. Firstly, the government should do something to control it, such as setting more strict regulations about the volume of alarms and how quickly they should be silenced. They also need to issue fines if people are not complying. Additionally, ordinary people who are responsible for alarms need to pay more attention to them and stop them from needlessly going off, as it is a nuisance to everyone around. This is a much more developed response, which includes some clear linking language, phrasal verbs, and strong collocations, all of which will help to achieve a higher score in the test. So, I timed myself reading the expanded version of the answer, and it took about 1 minute 40 seconds, which is within the 1 to 2 minutes allowed in the test. And more importantly, we can see how much fuller and more interesting the answer became. Before we finish, just a little tip about finding ways to show off your vocabulary knowledge to the examiners. As you noticed, in my expanded answer, I didn't just discuss one type of pollution, I gave a couple of other examples first. This is a good way to show the examiner your knowledge of the topic. So, if you identify an opportunity to do this, why not try it out? But don't give too many examples, as it could just sound like you're reading out a vocabulary list, which isn't very subtle. So, now it's your turn. Have a go at writing your own answer to this example question, then read it out loud and time yourself. See if you can get as close to 2 minutes as possible, and then read it out loud a few more times. I hope you found that useful, and don't forget to check back for new episodes soon. Thanks for watching, and have a lovely day.